In creating this part, we'll use different extrusion options. So you can see here from the dimensions, it's an inch based dimensions. There's no leading zero, and also there are trailing zeros to match the number of digits, so that's an inch system. So let's create a new document and NC inch template, and make sure it's IPS inch system. So let's start creating this bracket first, and we could draw rectangles here, but we'll use this thin extrusion option. So we'll start from front plane, creating a sketch. So we'll just draw a line, horizontal line and vertical line like that, and its dimension for that one is 4 inch and 1 3/4. Okay, that's the dimension here, 4 inch and 175. And that's it. We'll just use these two lines and we'll extrude it, and as you extrude it, it thickens. There's a thin feature option here. Okay, it's one direction, and we need to set 375 for the thickness, 0.375. Extrusion depth, and extrusion depth should be 1 inch. Okay, because in here, so it'll be 1 inch, but we want that plane stay in the middle because we're going to have a cylinder here, and we like to have a plane that runs in the middle of the cylinder, not on one side, because there's a symmetric part about that plane. So I'll use this mid-plane option, okay, and say okay, and that's the bracket. And then I need to create this cylinder, and let's use this top surface here to create a sketch. So I'll draw a circle centered here, and the dimension of the circle is 1.25. The diameter is 1.25. 1.25. Right, that's fully constrained because the center of the point is coincident with the origin point. So I need to extrude that. So extrude it up. If you look at the drawing here, from that top surface of the bracket to the top of this cylinder is ½ inch. So that's ½ inch. But then there's the one below it. It needs to be extruded by 1.5 from the sketching plane. And to do that, you have to click on this direction 2. So if you check this direction 2, that's another end condition option you can have. And here you need to type in 1.5. So you can do extrusion in both sides, but with different end conditions. So that's the one we have. That'll create a cylinder, and make sure that you check that merge result checked on, otherwise you'll create the separate bodies. Right, and then we need to create a cut for the hole on here, concentric. Diameter will be 0.5, and then this time it will be through all cut. So choose the through all option, and then there's another hole in here, so we'll use the extrude cut. Again, select the top surface, and I need to draw a circle there, and its dimension is ½ inch hole, and it's 1 inch away from the end of this bracket. So dimension ½ inch, and that is from this end 1 inch away. Still not fully constrained, because now that has to be in the middle of this bracket. So it's better to look at normal to the sketch direction, and then select the center origin point and select the center point together, pressing the Control key, and then align them horizontally, and that'll make this fully constrained. Now we need to cut it, and I want it to go all the way through, so that'll make a through all cut. There's a third hole here at the end of the bracket, the other way around. So we'll have features, extrude cut, select this end surface, sketch circle there, and with the diameter 0.4, 0.75 dimension, 0.4 here to the bottom is 0.75, and again this point, if you look at normal to it, to the sketch, that point and that point, select them together while pressing the Control key and vertically align them. That'll fully constrain it. Now we need to cut it, and from here that looks go all the way through, but if I choose it here, if I through all, what's gonna happen is it not only go through this one but also go through the other part, cylinder there. That's not what you want. So if I choose to do it with a blind cut and measuring this thickness of this bracket, which was 3.75, alright, and that'll make this geometry correct for now. But let's say if you change this thickness from 3.75 to say 0.5 later, as your design evolves and changes, and what happens is now this becomes a blind hole instead of through all. So that's not what you want. This you have to add like bolts or something to go through all the way, and then you make the design changes and forget to change this whole type, then your manufactured part will be completely wrong. So that is not good. So what you have to do is, instead of using the blind option, you need to use up to next. Okay, so that will be cut up until that surface, which is the next surface, but it doesn't cut the cylinder on the opposite side. So even if you change that later to a even thicker or smaller 0.75, it'll still keep that through all cut. Alright, so you have to think about this function of the hole, and you have to use proper end condition. So that the part will work correctly. The last one you want to add is a fillet. So typically you want to add a fillet the last step. The radius is 0.125. Select the corner edge, that will be rounded, and OK, and you get the part, and that is your final part.